Hey everybody, it's Van Time with Chuck and Deb, and today we're going to talk about 5 tips for discipling people that live in your home. Alright, hun, what are the 5 tips for discipling people that live in your home?
Well, the first is if you're just getting started, it's probably good to do a test run with somebody that you're already discipling, just to see how it's going to work and if it's going to work for your family.
Yeah, and you probably don't want to do that for a long period of time. You probably just want to do it for a weekend or maybe a week and kind of ramp it up and get used to it rather than say, hey, move in forever and ever, amen. Tip number 2.
Our second tip, and this, you really have to think of this beforehand, is getting a house plan or a house setup that's conducive to having people live in your home. And like when we moved to Alabama, we knew we wanted to have people live in our home, so we actually found a split floor plan where the master was on one side and then the other bedrooms were on the other side. We had teenagers, so we weren't worried about going and getting babies in the middle of the night or anything. But that way we could kind of have a little bit of space between all the people that were living in the house.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have a basement that the guys can live in. But the big thing is Deb and I do this with our houses, with our cars, with everything. We think about how can we use this to make disciples. So good thing to think about before you rent or buy a house. Tip number 3, hon.
Tip number 3 is, and maybe this is a piece of advice, is move in fourth soil people.
A lot of times we see people moving people in for evangelistic reasons, and we're not going to say that's bad, but generally speaking, we haven't seen that work out really well. So what we're saying is move in the committed. You don't just want renters. You want folks that are really gonna be teachable and then reproduce. Tip number 4.
Tip number 4 kind of has to do with logistics, and this is things like meals, food. You know, you kind of have to come up with a plan. Are you gonna plan on providing all those things for the people living in your home? Are they going to be on their own, which we call yo on yo own? Just how's that going to look, and just kind of have an agreement beforehand of the way things are going to go as far as, you know, those types of things.
We even have a written agreement. It's about 1 page that we read together before the person agrees to move in the home, and that's very helpful. Tip number 5.
Tip number 5 has to do with the cost. We have had people live in our home and not asked for any money from them, and we found that really translates into how they value what they're being taught or what's happening. So we actually encourage people who have others living in their home, not necessarily to charge them rent, but which you can do, that would be fine, but we would always ask for a suggested donation, and pretty much you know, sometimes it would be a range somewhere from here to here, you know, whatever you feel like you want to donate. And sometimes others have, asked for a specific donation, and then they'll divvy up a portion of the utility bills so that each month the rate would be different. It would be the base amount plus the utilities. But whatever arrangement you make, it just needs to be clear and understood, and how that's going to happen, whether it's Venmo or a check or direct deposit to your ministry account if you're a full-time, ministry or whatever, because that can be definitely an issue. And so the more you communicate about that up front, the less that's going to be a problem later.
So those are 5 tips for discipling people in your home. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, pass it on to your friends. If you've got questions, put them in the comments below. And until next time, keep making disciples until there's no place left.
Get to see my beard. That's the problem with HD. Get to see my beard. Don't that boy ever shave?